You want to forget, but you don't want to forget. You want to stay in the moment, but you don't want to stay in the moment. You want it to pass, but you don't want it to pass. You want to go revisit these memories, but you actually don't.
Time machine, from night time machine, from night time machine, from night time machine.
What this album is about, it's about loss, grief, and yeah, it's about it's about losing someone very close to me, and that's how I came to write the music.
This album, the process of actually making it was different. You went in and out the whole time.
Yeah, I was at home. I sat here, and it was because usually what happens when I'm writing a body of work, I would work on a song and take it to my guys for them to listen and see for that. You guys like this? Oh, obviously I like the songs, but I just want to interest them. But and this time it was strange enough because I looked myself up. My apartment, and I didn't leave until the project was done. So it was different in that sense that I didn't really have any external factors apart from lived experience that then affected me to get into that space that then I had to express myself. So it's like everything that was happening and to me that affected me and in what was happening over the past 2 years, I felt overwhelmed. And also whenever I write music, I always have a full picture. I always know what the visuals are gonna look like. I always know what the project is about. I always know what I'm trying to say. But with this project, it was never like that. And so when I finished the project, then I said, okay, I need a way to introduce the project so that it doesn't start hard. So just take you into this journey, and that's how that song came about. But again, it encapsulates the entire project, the entire body of project. So it's called Time Machine, and again, it talks about the importance of time. You could look at it from any angle, because when you're grieving, time will heal you over time, but also time, because it also talks about memories that I've had with people growing up and the love that I got from my mother and the people closest to me. So looking at that, but without any regrets, but trying to see whether if you would revisit. It's like reminiscing. It's a conflicting concept because there's a part of me that wishes to go back, but there's no regrets for me to go back to. But it's just that the longing of the connection and the teachings and the love. But there's a part of me that wants this to just disappear. You want to forget, but you don't want to forget. You want to stay in the moment, but you don't want to stay in the moment. You want it to pass, but you don't want it to pass. You want to go revisit these memories, but you actually don't. Dealing with things, that means you sit with them and actually process and deal with them. But when you're writing them down or journaling them, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're dealing with them. You can write something down, say, this is how I feel, and these are the emotions that I'm experiencing, and you're moving to the next one. But dealing with it is like sitting with it and actually confronting whatever issue that you have. But for me, that's not what it is, because it's I feel it, I put it into music, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I've dealt with it. There's art that I listen to that really helps me cope with certain things. But I think music has that power, and it's not, for me as an artist, it's not up to me to decide what the song will do for you. I know what it does for me. It helps me release, but it doesn't really help me deal with it. You understand what I'm saying? So, and once I've released it, then what it does for you and the next person, it's entirely not up to me. It's up to you as a person on how you take the music and how you translate it and how it makes you feel.
I'm hearing a lot of how we don't need art to be an answer. We don't need it to be a black and white cure for something. Just 'cause
Yeah.
you went through something, you expressed yourself.
Yeah.
Art isn't supposed to just be a pill
No.
to cure a disease. Is that how you feel about it?
I mean, art is not supposed to be a cure of something. I've never thought of it in that way. But I think that the best way to deal with things is to deal with things. Do what you know you should be doing. And I think it's different from person to person. I think for me, and I'll be very, I think it'll be very bad of me to actually impose that just because that's what works for me. But it depends on the person. If art is what you need for you to deal with things and that helps you and that's what works for you. It's like it's a toolkit, many things that comes into the toolbox. So music and art is part of that. I think music is, in particular, it's a very big part of that toolkit that helps us navigate life, helps us see different perspective and understand ourselves and also relate. And I think it's a big part of that toolbox. But does it help you with everything? I don't think so.
Yeah, there's nuance. I think that's what I'm hearing as well. It's not it's not a switch.
No. I wish we all had a switch. It's not a switch. No. What lessons have I learned from this album? But one thing I know for sure is that grieving is a process, and it's a process that I feel like doesn't end. And that's something I'm still learning. And also what I've learned about it is that something that I constantly learn is that when it comes to art and emotion and expression, the technical part of it comes last. Technically, it doesn't have to be perfect if it feels right. Because when I'm making and mixing music, that's what I go for. There were points where I used to go very hard on the music and be very clinical. And what I found with that is that it takes away the emotions of the song, because it could still be the same chord progression, it could still be the same sound. But once you go and surgically EQ or over compress or do anything, then you realize that actually that one thing, the soul of the song, completely disappears with that. So this is what I was trying to do with this particular project. Was like, I'm gonna keep it to its true essence. I'm not gonna over process it. I'm not gonna compress it too much. I'm just gonna, if it feels, there's a certain feeling that it triggers when I'm listening to these songs. And this is what I want to keep throughout. Why am I putting out this music and sharing it to the world? I think there's too many reasons. If you do something that you love, and with what you love, you're able to change your life, you have a much better life. You have a much better circle of people, and then you resonate better with people, because it's I guess that's the reason I make music, because I don't think there's anything else that I can do better than it. And the sharing part is a big part of that, because without sharing it, then I can't make a living out of it. And if I can't make a living out of it, then I'm going to be a miserable person. If I'm a miserable person, I'm no good to society, because this is my life purpose, to make music. And part of making music and still be able to live and have a harmonious relationship with people around you and with yourself is the big part of it, is that, are you able to sustain yourself?